especially in the LCS
Putting that on. It's okay. I was just going to start
community,
recording it.
that
Forget.
we are being told that we shouldn't do ads before after 100K. And it's so difficult, and it's money out of the window, and so on. And I think that sometimes we forget that time is money too, and it takes a lot of time to build this know, like, and trust on social media. So
Completely.
for me, I would just say do both and do it from the beginning. Just get started.
Well, I did. I know I never would have been able to grow my business to 6 figures without ads either. Like, I still rely on them so much. I love them. So, okay, we'll kick in and all right. So we'll talk, I did have a title. I thought I wrote a title. Okay, we'll just talk about growing your life coaching business on social media. Okay. Hello and welcome everyone. I wanted to come and bring you a very special guest today. It is Laerke Nielsen, and she's coming all the way from Paris. She's so lucky to live in Paris, and she originally hails from Denmark. I'll edit that. What I was saying, I was going to say you were Danish.
Okay.
Don't mind me. From Denmark, and she's moved to Paris and has jumped out of corporate over the last few years and has been building her life coaching business. And I wanted to get Laerke on to talk to you about her journey with social media and through the Coach Co program, how she has created her own lead generation, done her way, what's worked, what hasn't, what she's finding the most valuable part of her strategy moving forward. So hopefully you can get some great insight too. So welcome, Laerke. It's nice to have you here. Thanks for taking the time. So great.
Thank you so much.
We can catch up from Australia to Paris, Melbourne to Paris. So I love it. And so Laerke's a dating coach. Do you want to just fill everyone in on your website, what you do, and how long?
So I'm a dating coach, and just to fill in the background, I actually used to be a breakup coach, but I had more and more clients who also needed help with dating, and I found out that I liked it more. It sort of lit me up more to do dating because it's about the future and creating something new. So also I could see, the pattern. This is usually what happens, right? We see something that we recognize from ourselves in our clients. And so I decided to shift completely to be a dating coach, and I help strong, independent women who are typically successful in their career and in other areas of life, but kind of struggle to crack the code to their love life and find this deeply connected relationship that they desire. So this is what I help them do. And I have a coaching program that is 5 months, and there we work through both a lot of the inner work about self-worth and self-confidence, and then I help them get out and start dating and give them feedback and help them get to a place where they feel empowered in their dating and they like their dating life. It's fun and they are having great experiences with it.
Yeah, so when they're coming to you, they're generally feeling like, oh, there's no good guys left. Everything's kind of over. I don't want to go on the apps. So you work with them privately over that time to get them to a state of more confidence. And if you are a woman who is, of a certain age, like my good self, or over 40, over 50, it's such a great opportunity, I think, to help women at that age. Me having been single, I've got a boyfriend now, but I mean I dated for a long time, and it is, you're kind of like a fish out of water, and you're thinking, oh, it's so hard, I don't want to do it. So to be able to have those strategies, and so if you are a woman like that, definitely take a look at your Instagram as well. I love your videos that you've been doing on there. But let's have a chat about social media. So when you came to talk to me, you're a breakup coach. How long had you got certified? How long had you actually been coaching when we met, say April?
Well, I certified in September 2020 and had like a long time where I didn't really have a niche. So I had been coaching for like almost 2 years, I think, because I started coaching during certification. We had these free practice clients, so I did coach like for almost 2 years, I think. And I think I was struggling a little bit with social media and actually attracting clients from social media. And I wanted to do something else in addition to that. I wanted to really learn how to set up a Facebook ad and how to create a funnel. What is in a funnel? How do I assess it? And what? Because when I put out a freebie on the market, I never really knew what was if the numbers were good or bad, and how to evaluate, and what to do if it's not working, and how to create a landing page and things like this. So this is some of the things I wanted to work with you on. And also I was doing some webinars, and I wanted to get some feedback on that as well. So those were like the two big things.
Yeah, and I think what was interesting there is that I mean, I always love and admire all my clients' markets, because I'm like, some markets are just like, wow, people, you get freebies, you know, leads at a low cost. But I think what we uncovered too in diving in a bit deeper, in that sometimes, yes, you could be getting email opt-ins for these freebies, but that people were coming on calls weren't the kind of clients that you really wanted to keep working with. So you had a bit of traffic flow, you'd had a little bit of dabble with Facebook ads as well. So you'd had some level of success, and you weren't like, no way, I'm never doing it. But you weren't getting the results that you were kind of looking for, in terms of, it was feeling like you were having a lot of calls, they weren't very qualified. What do you think wasn't working with what you were doing on social media?
Well, one of the things I noticed was that when we started working, I wasn't actually setting up a proper landing page. I had something very basic, and I remember looking at the numbers and calculating a conversion rate of like 5% or something.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I didn't really know how to do this. And this is one of the things I really feel that this is a skill that I have now. I learned how to set up a landing page that converts, and it's typically around the 40% now. So this is much, much better than in the past. And then so that's one of the things. And then the whole I actually think that is fun to work with Facebook ads. I like numbers, and I like doing experiments, so I like tweaking here and there and see how it works. And especially when it's a freebie that you put out on the market and there's no deadline, you have time to experiment with the ads and create different audience and take a few days and test it out and look at the numbers. This is something that I think is super fun. So I feel that I know now what are the important metrics to look at. How do I assess them? What are the benchmark? Like what are we aiming at? Is it good or bad? And how can I change it? So this is like very important skill to know. And I also want to say that because I know a lot of people have a mind drama about this is so difficult, and it's not difficult. It's not.
What
You
is
just
it?
need to sit down and learn it. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
were very motivated to do that, which is always so much easier for me. And you're like, what about the stats? Or I'd say, okay, with your targeting, it was like, oh, hang on, I know if we go to some of the more modern dating people, or let's try some different, some work, some don't, but getting a lot more specific with the targets and seeing how that changed, and changing your countries and moving around. And you were always very open to doing that, which was great, and changing your images and your copy and working, like getting that flow of having the ad to the page. So at least you could still be building your list with targeted leads, right? Like at least you have that initial target. But then it's a matter of, okay, how do we get them to convert? So we went down the webinar route, right? So I think it's great to have Laerke on, because she's like, no, really, the webinars, they weren't for me, right? So tell me about, you did do a lot. I love the way you're willing to just jump in. And but it's great to know, like sometimes you're like, no, I didn't like it this way, and it didn't work out for you.
Yeah. So I did webinars for two different kind of audiences. I did the ones where I sent out a Facebook ad and I invite my own audience organically. And then I did another kind where I was sort of a guest speaker in a big expat association. And when I did that, I usually had a lot of a big audience, like sometimes more than 100 attendees, and they would stay all the way to after 1.5 hours, and they would still be there asking questions. And this kind of webinar was a very for me, it gave me a lot of energy, because I really feel that here I connect with people, and they really need what I have to offer them. But many of them were not, because they didn't like actively sign up for something. They were not looking for a coach, so the conversion was not really that good. And with the other webinars where I called them in myself through ads and organically, I usually had not such a big number of attendees. And so at some point I decided to take a break with the webinars because I feel also like as an introvert, I feel like it's a big
Felt very
energy
dry.
burst. I need to
Yeah.
so I'm tired, and it was
Yeah.
draining a little bit. And so I decided I'm gonna take a break, and then at some point I'm gonna make a shorter version and record it. And so for sure, this is something that's still on the shelf and still like in
Yes.
the toolbox, so to speak, because I think it can be very useful. And I know also that when sometimes when I speak to people on consults, they tell me, I saw your webinar or I saw you on video. And seeing people
Yes.
on video is really important because you get an idea of who they are, how they speak, and does it resonate with you, and so on. So
Yes.
it's
So
definitely something I want to continue with at some point.
yeah, and this is also what I've been sharing a little bit in this series is that the webinar, whether people watch it or not, and hopefully they will, of course, but what it gives you is an opportunity to share, like go a little bit deeper or have a reason to email people or with some beautiful value, like, hey, would you like to come to this class? Or you can just have a bit of that follow up as well. So I love the lead magnets because I feel lead magnets get you cheaper leads, which we want to make sure that our investment in ads is giving us a good return. So it not only does it pre-qualify those people because we know that they're already interested in our opt-in, but we're getting them onto our list. But of course we know they're not going to come on the list and buy straight away. Some people might, but generally they take a little bit of time. So tell me about what you've been doing. You were doing a lot more, hey, come on a call on Instagram, right? Trying to book strategy calls on Instagram, and you're finding that you would book calls, but they weren't great. So tell me about that shift that you made with the follow-up. And we talk about frequency and follow-up, and you've been doing a lot of that, which is great.
Yeah, so I created a freebie that is probably a bit longer and bigger than you normally would, but I just think that at the moment there's so many coaches out there and there's so much free material. So just giving people one page with something, it's not doing it. So I decided to create something that I felt was good quality and I can feel proud of. And then I first had a nurture sequence that somehow didn't really work so well, so I stopped doing it. And then what I did was I tested an email campaign. So I created a flow of, I think in the beginning it was only 7 emails where people would get an email every day for 7 days,
Yes.
where in each and every one of them I would give them a call to action, which was to book a session or a call.
Yes.
And I had initially a little bit of mind drama about doing that because I felt that I'm almost spamming people now. They get an email every day. But I decided to do it as an experiment, and I could see that I had people in the first email, of course, I got more people to book than the later ones, but some people actually booked after having received 4 emails, and they told me, it's because you keep repeating, and now I realized, okay, yeah, maybe I should actually, so they hear the message again and again. And sometimes we're a little bit scared of saying the same thing again, and we feel like we're spamming, but sometimes this is actually what it takes.
Yeah.
So once I had tested that, I put it sort of behind my freebie, so that and then I added some more emails. So now I also have a few short
Right.
videos in the
Yes.
emails. So it's like a long chain of 12 mails, I think, that they get after they sign up.
And yeah, and so now you've set that up, right? So it's not like
Yeah,
you're having to
yeah,
think every day, oh, well, I will send that off.
no,
That all becomes a
no,
sequence. You've done the work
yeah,
once and it happens, which
yeah,
so beautiful because people need so many more touches now and reminders. They're so busy. We're in that TikTok kind of world of people just popping in. Yeah, you're still then able to jump on quick videos on Instagram. What's your handle on Instagram if people want to have a look at your Instagram as well? It's Laerke.
It's at Laerke Coach.
That's it. Beautiful. I love your videos. They're brilliant. So you've
Thanks.
still got that there. So it's not like we're neglecting organic, but you're
No.
only having to show up there like once a day if you want. But if you didn't, you know that your ads are still working, bringing people in. So tell me how much your list. Tell me now, obviously you're getting more calls from your list and your follow-up sequences and you're actually booking clients from those calls coming through from ads, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's quite interesting because I made a little experiment where I put the same text out on Instagram as a post, as I also sent out in an email. And this was a text that was really supposed to make people motivated to book a call. And I didn't get one single call from Instagram, and I didn't get much reach actually, but the same gave me like 4 or 5 consults booked on my list. And I had at the time almost the same number of followers on Instagram as I had on my list. So I just realized that there is sometimes it is difficult to get visibility on social media, but I still would say, I mean, we need to do both, but it almost like you get, when you do a Facebook ad, you get a chance to speak in a microphone instead of just standing on a soapbox. So you get a little bit more, you need to still have something interesting to say, but you get a chance to reach more people. So I think that we need to do both, and I wouldn't be scared of doing it early on. I remember one of the first times I put out an ad to a freebie, and I took the rest of the day off, and I went for lunch with one of my friends, and I could just see on my phone how subscribers were just ticking in, and I felt almost like this is like having an assistant. I mean, they're just coming in automatically, and I think this is also one of the things. You create something, you take a little bit of time to tweak it, to optimize it, but once it's there, you just let it be there for several weeks, and you can lean back and let someone else do the work for you.
And I think that's the problem, right? Is that so many people don't want to push through that initial, and look, you know, at times where you were testing it, I was like, no, you've got to change this on the thing, and I need you to change this image. And you're like, but this image doesn't work, and it's frustrating, right? Like, I totally get it. But then you can break through and you start to develop the skill. What I want to teach you to do is how to fish, right? Like, and now you're like, okay, out you go. Just do what you need to do because you've got that skill, but you were prepared to be tenacious to keep going through so that you can develop that skill. Now you know what to do. And it's so valuable. Whereas if you were outsourcing that or continuing doing it in a way that wasn't profitable, of course you're going to have a bad opinion about Facebook ads. And sometimes they are frustrating and sometimes they don't work, and that will always happen. But you have the skills now to know, I know this audience works, I know this does. And I agree. Mine, just the lead magnet stuff, you just leave it going and you're like, this is great. They're just all coming in. And it's fantastic. And I think even the other day you were saying about, you always want to know metrics, which I love. You're like, is this a good conversion rate or is this a good rate? Where you were saying about a return on ad spend. I think we worked out for $1, every dollar that you'd spent, you got like $9 or something in coaching clients back. So, you know, and you're like, is that good? I'm like, I think that's pretty good. Well, it's hard to know, right? Because who tells you this stuff? So I wasn't saying, you know, not to ask, but and sometimes that might work and sometimes that might tweak and change, but now you've got such a foundation. So tell me also about the mind drama, because I know you feel very like in line with this niche now with flipping to the dating, but you did have a fair bit of mind drama around bad breakup. You know, people seem to come to me for breakup, and I'm like, you don't like coaching people on breakup. So tell me about, you were feeling like I can't change it, or tell me
I did actually like, and I still do like to coach people on breakup. I'm still open to receiving clients on breakup.
Right, okay, good.
I just felt that the other thing was, I felt more energized when I was coaching women on dating. So it felt just much more fun for me. And I think also is this the idea about I have some thoughts about in order to be a breakup coach, I needed to have like a really, really bad breakup myself in the past. And I did have some that were not so good, but I didn't have like this big breakup. And so I didn't feel like 100% aligned with it, but the dating is something I have like a ton of experience with, and where some of the things that I've learned through coaching and in the past few years, and that have managed to shift is things that are both working in dating but also in relationship. So I think that some of the things that we learn to become better in dating is also relationship skills. And it's particularly when we talk about the ambitious, high achieving, successful women, we tend to use the same kind of energy that is creating success in career. We also use that in dating, and that's all where we don't even realize that we're actually chasing a man, or we're trying to take control, whereas this is pushing them away more than it's pulling them in. So some of these things, masculine, feminine energy, and polarity, I think is so interesting. And those are areas where you can, with a very few small shift, you can create a big change in your dating life.
Yes. And which you did. So here was also a bit of the mind drama. You were like, but I don't know if I really want to coach on dating because I'm single currently. But it only took, I think, about 1 month from you stepping into that. You, like, your whole demeanor really, once you could step into that, I saw like a change in just everything. But not only that, right? You've met a lovely partner. You're like roaming the streets of Paris with this fabulous man. So it's that confidence starts to come through. Not, I mean, look, it may not have been related, but it does seem like,
and I remember we stopped because I actually made the decision to shift before I found my boyfriend, because I just wanted to shift because I felt I can help women here and I really like this. But as it's true, I had some mind drama about, can I be a dating coach and be single? And then we also talked about, what happens if you meet someone and then in a couple of years it doesn't work out? Do you then have to change your niche to something else? Of course not. I mean, so but of course, when you are in it yourself, you also get a lot more like direct connection to the problems, the challenges, and everything.
Yes, there is benefit to that for sure, but it's like, it's not like you haven't had that insider experience. So like, I love that for you, and I've just loved seeing, I have loved everything you put together now, and you just seeing that metamorphosis. So I really wanted to connect with you and for you to share that, because I think there are a lot of things that come up with people. Like, even you do one-on-one coaching, you were always very like, yep, I just want to do one-on-one, and that was fine, right? You could have things done your way, and you're very clear on what you do and what you don't like to do, but then we can still find those custom opportunities for you, or you've done the work. You've been the one who's open, wanting to do it and getting moving. So I love that. And I want, anyone who is having a drama about dating or getting back out there, then definitely come to your website, laerkenielsencoaching.com, or follow you on Insta at Laerke Coach. I'll put the details down near this video. And reach out to you. Thank you, my love, for coming on and sharing that experience. I think a lot of people see a lot of their own experiences, so it's nice to see what can happen. So enjoy the rest of your day in Paris, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for everything you've done to help me. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. Absolute pleasure, always. Okay.
All right.
I won't kick off. I'll just cut it at the thing. Thank you, my love. I really appreciate your time. I'm sorry that we went over, but
no, but that's my fault. I mean, I brought the question to begin with.
My love, you can ask me anything at any time, always. Like, that is, you know me, I am open. It's not a problem. I love helping if I can help. Sometimes, like, I was swimming around in the pool with you there because I've had those experiences, and I knew exactly how you felt. I was like, oh God. But then I was like, okay. We don't have to make it mean any more than that. So you've got it. And I really have loved seeing your transformation. I'm so happy with your niche. I'm jealous of your niche. I'd like to have it one day. I might do something.
There's a lot of parallel, I think so often that so many parallels between dating and business, right? It's about attracting, when you look at a consult, it's about getting a commitment, and so there's so many parallels.
And all the confidence, am I good enough? Could I put myself out there? Would that be weird? Aren't I going to get rejected? All of those things.
Rejection,
I just love, but like you would see with your dating clients, seeing when you have the breakthroughs and the change, and then it just becomes the new normal. So I love it. But anyway, I'll let you go, my darling. Please, just anytime, don't be a stranger. I'll send you I'll edit this up and I'll send it to you if you want to share it anywhere or whatever. That's fine. And I'll share it and mail it, and we'll get it moving.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, my darling.
I really appreciate it, because I know you have a big following, so that's awesome. That's awesome. Just getting more visibility. I love it.
No, exactly. No, this is what I love about you. You're prepared to just dive in and do it, and that's how you get the results. And I must say, a lot of LCS aren't as willing to do things that's like, it seems like there are a lot of people in LCS. I'm kind of like, we're go-getters. You know, we're used to being in corporate and we go and do things. And it's kind of, I found that market a little bit more like they're really scared of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then is it mostly like ads because there's a lot of negative talk around ads.
Oh, yeah.
And people are making it something really difficult and too expensive and all. And it's just too bad, like, because I'm thinking, you know, this is, I have never got client from social media directly. It's always been webinars or through ads.
Or referrals.
And I think it's so sad for those who hold themselves back from doing it. And
they're sitting there. They've already paid $20,000 for that certification. They're sitting there still trying to like pay business. Like some of them are in like Stacey Bateman's mastermind paying 25 grand, and I'm thinking you haven't even like got your like webinar or your ads or like gosh. And anyway, but oh well, they'll work it out.
I totally think that, I mean, mindset is always number one. It's always important to have. But you're going to need a lot of mindset coaching if you do social media and get no results for a long time.
Yes. And
spend the money on ads instead.
And have strategy, right? Because it's not a strategy just to try organic social media if nobody knows who you are, or you like or you don't have partnership or traffic. You need traffic, and social media is not.
It's like the social media is you're in an upward spiral or you're in a downward, and you need to have some kind of influencer DNA to really make it like really big growth on social media.
Totally, absolutely. And the people who are doing it, they have to post again and again and again. Oh no, I couldn't be bothered. Could not be bothered. And having my makeup on every day, forget it. I couldn't be bothered. No way. Anyway, my darling, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Enjoy Paris. Hopefully
I'll be
over there next year, and you might still be there, and we can go.
Tell me when you come.
I would love
it. Yeah.
It'd be so good. All right, my darling. Take care. I appreciate you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.